My name is Rachel. I was 32 years old. I lived with Daniel in a small apartment. Daniel was 34 years old. We lived on the 6th floor. The building was old and gray. It had no elevator. Every day, I climbed those stairs. Our apartment had 2 small rooms. The kitchen was too small. The window did not close well. Cold air came in at night. Rain came in during storms. The walls had old marks. The floor made noise under my feet, but I called it home. I called it our home. I worked 2 jobs. I woke up at 5 a.m. I washed my face with cold water. I put on my old shoes. Then I went to the diner. The diner stood near a busy road. Trucks passed it all day. Men came in for coffee. Women came in for pie. Families came in for cheap meals. I worked as a waitress there. I carried plates all day. I poured coffee all day. I smiled at rude people. I cleaned dirty tables. I picked up wet napkins. I ran from table to table. My feet hurt before noon. My back hurt before night. But I did not stop. The air in the diner felt heavy. It smelled like cheap coffee. It smelled like old oil. It smelled like eggs and grease. That smell followed me home. It stayed in my hair. It stayed on my coat. It stayed on my hands. I hated it sometimes, but I needed the money. After the diner, I did not rest. I walked to an office building. I worked there at night. I cleaned floors and desks. I took out trash. I washed small bathrooms. I wiped glass doors. I cleaned after rich people. They left cups and papers everywhere. They never saw my face. My hands changed with time. They became dry and hard. My nails broke many times. My fingers had small cuts. Soap made the cuts burn. Cold water made them worse. I looked at my hands often. They did not look young. They did not look soft. They looked tired. But I did not complain. I worked for our future. I worked for Daniel. I worked for his dream. I worked because I loved him. I believed love meant sacrifice. I believed pain had a reason. I believed hard days led somewhere. I believed Daniel and I had tomorrow. Daniel studied law. He was smart and handsome. He came from a poor family. He hated that poor past. He wanted a better life. He wanted a big office. He wanted respect from rich men. He wanted people to know his name. I understood that dream. At night, he sat with books. His law books were large and heavy. The words looked hard to me. He read for many hours. Sometimes he read until midnight. Sometimes he slept at the table. I placed a blanket on his back. Then I washed dishes very quietly. Those books cost too much money. Each book took many diner shifts. Each book took many office nights. But I bought them for him. I paid the rent each month. I paid the electricity bill. I paid for food and soap. I paid for his bus pass. I paid for almost everything. Daniel said he felt bad. He said it many times. He took my rough hands. He kissed my fingers. He said I saved him. He said I was his angel. I smiled when he said that. I did not feel like an angel. I felt tired and poor. But his words warmed me. One winter, he needed a suit. He had an important interview. He needed to look like a lawyer. I took my small savings. I bought him a dark blue suit. It fit him so well. He looked tall and important. He looked like a different man. I cried when I saw him. He laughed and held me close. "Why do you cry, Rachel?" he asked. I touched the clean suit. "You look ready," I said. "You look like your dream." He smiled at himself in the mirror. He turned from side to side. He fixed the new tie. His face looked proud. I felt proud too. I forgot my empty wallet. I forgot my old coat. That coat stayed with me. I wore it for 3 winters. The left sleeve had a tear. I fixed it with black thread. The buttons did not match. One pocket had a hole. Cold air passed through it. But I still wore it. Daniel had the suit. That mattered more to me. Sometimes people at the diner stared. They looked at my old shoes. They looked at my torn coat. I lowered my head. I felt small beside them. I felt poor beside them. I felt less than other women. Their hair looked clean and soft. Their hands looked smooth and pretty. I looked at my own hands. They were red from hot water. They were rough from hard work. I hid them under the counter. I did not want Daniel to see, but he saw everything. Back then, I thought he loved everything. I thought he loved even my tired hands. Every month felt the same. Rent came first. Then electricity came next. Then food came after that. Daniel's school needs came again. I counted every dollar. I wrote numbers on paper. I skipped lunch many times. I drank water and smiled. Daniel needed strong food. Daniel needed a clear mind. He studied while I worked. He slept while I cleaned. He dreamed while I paid. That was our life. It was not easy, but it felt like a road. A hard road, yes, but a road to something good. At night, our room was cold. We had one small heater. It made a weak sound. It never warmed the whole room. I wore socks in bed. Daniel wrapped his arms around me. His chest felt warm. His voice became soft. Those nights made me forget pain. "Just wait, Rachel," he said. "I will become a lawyer." "I know," I said. "When I become a lawyer," he said, "I will give you the world." I closed my eyes and smiled. The room felt less cold. "You will never work again," he said. "I will buy you a big house." "A big house?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "A house with stairs inside. A house with a real kitchen. A house with warm rooms. A house with flowers outside." I laughed softly in the dark. I tried to see that house. I saw a clean kitchen. I saw bright windows. I saw a soft bed. I saw no dirty floors. I saw no diner grease. I saw no office trash. I saw myself in a nice dress. Daniel held me tighter. "You deserve that, Rachel." I believed him completely. I believed every word. His dream became my dream. His future became my future. His success became my hope. So I worked harder. I smiled more. I slept less. I saved more. I gave more. Some mornings my body felt heavy. My eyes burned from no sleep. My feet hurt before work began. My stomach made noise. But I got up again. I put on my old coat. I tied my hair back. I walked down 6 floors. Then I went to work. I told myself one thing: just a little longer. Daniel will finish soon. Daniel will become a lawyer. Then our life will change. Then he will see me. Then he will thank me. Then we will rest together. I did not know the truth. I did not see the danger. I only saw love. I only saw hope. I only saw Daniel's smile. So I gave him my youth. I gave him my money. I gave him my strength. I gave him all I had, and every night he promised me the world. Daniel finished law school in spring. I sat in the crowd that day. I wore my old black dress. It was not pretty anymore, but I cleaned it carefully. I fixed my hair with pins. I wanted to look good for him. Daniel walked across the stage. People clapped for him. I clapped until my hands hurt. My eyes filled with tears. I remembered every late night. I remembered every bill. I remembered every hard morning. I thought we made it together. After the ceremony, Daniel hugged me. He smelled like clean soap then. He smiled for many photos. He held his paper with pride. I stood beside him and smiled. I thought my life changed that day. Soon, Daniel got a job. The firm was famous in the city. Rich people knew that place. Powerful people went there. Daniel said it was a big chance. I felt happy for him. I cooked his favorite dinner. I bought a small cake too. He came home late that night. I waited at the kitchen table. The cake sat on a plate. 2 cheap candles stood on top. I wanted to celebrate with him, but Daniel looked tired and cold. "Congratulations," I said. "You did it." He looked at the cake. "I ate at work," he said. "Oh," I said. "That is okay." He put his bag down. He did not kiss me first. He did not hold my hands. He only checked his phone. Then he went to the bathroom. I sat alone with the cake. At first, I made excuses. Daniel worked hard now. His new job needed time. He needed to impress important people. I told myself to be patient. I knew hard work well. I understood tired people. But Daniel changed more each week. He came home later and later. He spoke less at dinner. He hid his pay from me. He said money was complicated. He said the firm had rules. I did not understand law money, so I trusted him again. Then I saw the watch. It was silver and heavy. It shone on his wrist. I had never seen it before. "Is that new?" I asked. Daniel pulled his sleeve down. "It was a gift," he said. "From work?" I asked. "Yes," he said. Something like that. I wanted to believe him, but my chest felt tight. That watch cost more than our rent. I knew that at once. I still wore my torn coat. He now wore a rich man's watch. Some nights, he ate without me. He said clients took him out. He said the dinners helped his job. He came home with clean teeth. He smelled like wine. He smelled like flowers. He smelled like women. The first time, I said nothing. The second time, I asked, "Daniel, what is that smell?" He looked away. "It is the restaurant," he said. "It smells like perfume," I said. He laughed in a hard way. "You clean offices all night. Do not teach me about smell." His words hurt me. I looked down at my hands. They smelled like soap and bleach. His shirt smelled like rich wine. I felt poor again. I felt small again. Then I heard her name. Victoria. He said it once during a call. His voice changed when he said it. It became soft and sweet. He went into the hallway, but our walls were thin. I heard him laugh. I had not heard that laugh for months. I asked about her later. He closed his laptop fast. "She works at the firm," he said. "Her father is a senior partner." "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means he is important," Daniel said. He said nothing else. But I learned more soon. Victoria was 26. She was beautiful and rich. She drove a black luxury car. She wore white coats and gold rings. Her hands looked soft and clean. They looked like they never worked. One afternoon, the diner closed early. The owner had a family problem. I walked home through downtown. I passed Daniel's office building. I wanted to surprise him. I thought we could eat together. I had $10 in my bag. Then I saw the black car. It stopped near the front door. Daniel came out of the building. He wore the suit I bought. He looked happy and relaxed. Victoria opened the car door. She stepped out and smiled. Daniel looked around once. Then he kissed her. It was not a small kiss. It was not a mistake. It was hungry and greedy. His hands touched her face. Her soft hands held his coat. I stood across the street. My body became cold. Cars passed between us. But I saw everything. My bag fell from my hand. A man near me picked it up. "Miss, are you okay?" he asked. I could not speak. I took the bag and walked away. My feet moved by themselves. I climbed 6 floors in a dream. I sat on our bed. I looked at the wall. The room felt smaller than before. That night, Daniel came home late. He did not look surprised. He looked ready. He carried a designer suitcase. It was brown leather and new. I stared at it from the bed. "You bought a suitcase?" I asked. He did not answer. He opened the closet. He took out his shirts. He folded them slowly. He took his law books, too. Then he took the blue suit. I stood up. "Daniel, what are you doing?" He stopped and looked at me. His eyes had no guilt. "I need to leave," he said. My mouth went dry. "Leave where?" "With Victoria," he said. The room became quiet. I heard a car outside. I heard water in the pipes. I heard my own breath. "You kissed her," I said. He did not deny it. He only sighed. "I saw you," I said. "I saw everything." He closed the suitcase. Then he looked at me. His eyes moved to my coat, then to my shoes, then to my hands. He looked at them too long. His face changed. He looked almost disgusted. I hid my hands behind me. That small act broke my heart. "I am sorry, Rachel," he said. "I love you, but love is not enough." I stared at him. "Not enough? Victoria's father can help me," he said. "He can make me a partner one day. She has power. She has money." I waited for him to stop. But he did not stop. "You only smell like a diner," he said. His words hit harder than any slap. "You wear cheap clothes," he said. "You live in this cheap place. I do not belong here anymore." I felt my knees shake. "I paid for this place." "I know," he said. "And I thank you." "Thank me?" I asked. He looked away. "I need a rich life, Rachel." I laughed once. It did not sound like me. "A rich life?" "Yes," he said. "I worked hard for it." I stepped closer. "You worked hard?" His face became cold. "Do not make this ugly." I raised my rough hands. "These paid your rent. These bought your books. These bought that suit." He looked at the suit in his hand. Then he placed it inside the suitcase. "I cannot stay," he said. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to ask why, but my voice felt lost. I looked at the man I loved. He looked like a stranger in my room. He zipped the suitcase. That sound cut the air. He took his phone and keys. He walked to the door. "Daniel," I said. He stopped, but he did not turn. "Did you ever love me?" I asked. He stood still for a moment. "I loved what we had," he said. Then he opened the door. Cold air came into the room. He walked out with the suit. He walked out with the books. He walked out with my years. He walked out with my money. He walked out with my trust. The door closed softly. I stood there alone. The cake plate still sat in the sink. His old cup stood on the table. My torn coat hung near the door. The heater made its weak sound. The room felt colder than ever. I looked at my hands again. They shook in front of me. They were rough, red, and empty. For the first time, I hated them. I hated the work. I hated the sacrifice. I hated the smell of coffee. I hated the suit. I hated the word future. Then I sat on the floor. I cried until morning. I cried for a whole week. I did not go to the diner. I did not go to the office. I did not answer my phone. I stayed in bed all day. I sat on the floor at night. I looked at the door often. Some foolish part of me waited. I waited for Daniel to knock. I waited for him to say sorry. I waited for his voice. I waited for the old Daniel, but no one came. The hallway stayed quiet. The apartment stayed cold. Food ran out. The bills came again. The rent date came closer. My phone showed many missed calls. My diner boss left messages. The office manager left messages too. I did not call them back. I felt like an old chair. Someone used it for years. Then someone threw it away. That was how I felt. Used, empty, worthless. One morning, I opened my bank app. The number was almost 0. I stared at it for a long time. I had no savings. I had no help. I had no Daniel. I had only that small apartment. I had only my body. I had only my rough hands. Then, something changed inside me. It was small at first. It was not joy. It was not peace. It was anger. But it felt clean. Daniel took my money. He took my time. He took my trust. But he did not take my brain. He did not take my strength. He did not take my hands. He did not take my will. I sat up in bed. I wiped my face. I lived before him, I said. I will live after him. The words sounded simple, but they saved me. The next day, I went back out. I walked to the diner. My boss shouted at me first. Then he saw my face. He became quiet. "You okay, Rachel?" he asked. "No," I said. "But I need work." He gave me my shifts back. I worked that day with red eyes. People complained about coffee. Children dropped fries. A woman sent back soup. I did not break. I carried plates. I cleaned tables. I smiled when I had to. That night, I went to the office building. I cleaned again. I saw lawyers pass in the hall. I saw clean suits and shiny shoes. My chest hurt each time, but I kept moving. I cleaned their floors. I cleaned their glass. I did not cry. For months, I saved every dollar. I ate cheap food. I walked instead of taking buses. I sold old things from the apartment. I sold Daniel's old chair. I sold the extra lamp. I sold the small table. I kept only what I needed. Then I made a choice. I quit the cleaning job. My hands hurt too much at night. My body had little strength left, but I had one skill Daniel never valued. I could cook. At the diner, people loved my food. I helped the cook many times. I made soups, pies, and sandwiches. I made food that felt like home. Customers asked for my meals. Some came back because of them. I took my small savings. I bought an old food truck. It had dents, and bad paint. The stove looked old. The fridge made noise. The first day, I looked at it and laughed. It looked tired like me, but it still worked. I named it Rachel's Table. I painted the name myself. The letters were not perfect, but they were mine. I bought cheap pots and pans. I bought fresh vegetables. I cooked from early morning. I parked near offices downtown. The first week was hard. Few people stopped. Some looked and walked away. Some asked for lower prices. Rain came on Wednesday. My shoes filled with water. I sold only 12 meals that day. I almost gave up that night. Then I remembered Daniel's face. I remembered his words. "You only smell like a diner." I washed my face. I stood up again. I cooked more food before sunrise. Slowly, people came. Office workers bought lunch. Taxi drivers bought soup. Nurses bought dinner after long shifts. Students bought sandwiches. They told their friends. Their friends came too. Soon, a line formed outside my truck. I worked like I always worked, but this time, I worked for me. That made the pain different. My feet still hurt. My hands still cracked. My back still burned. But each dollar stayed mine. Each good word fed my heart. A local paper wrote about me. The title was simple: Best Food Truck Downtown. I cut it out and taped it inside. The next week, more people came. Then a city food page shared my truck. After that, I sold out every day. I hired one helper. Then I hired two. I bought a second truck. Then I bought a third. I learned about money. I learned about rent. I learned about business papers. I made mistakes. I fixed them. I asked questions. I learned fast. 5 years passed. By then, I owned restaurants. Not one, not two. A small chain. People called them luxury restaurants. I still laughed at that word. I remembered my old truck. I remembered rain in my shoes. I remembered 12 meals on the first day. My main restaurant stood downtown. It had tall windows. It had warm lights. It had clean white tables. It had a large kitchen. Chefs worked under my name. Managers asked for my choices. Rich people booked tables weeks ahead. I changed, too. I wore designer dresses now. I wore sharp makeup. I walked with my head high. My hair looked neat and strong. People opened doors for me. Banks called me Miss Rachel. Lawyers asked to work for me. But my hands stayed rough. Money did not make them soft. Fine lotion helped a little, but old marks stayed there. Small lines crossed my fingers. Hard skin stayed on my palms. I used to hide them. Now I looked at them with pride. These hands carried plates. These hands cleaned floors. These hands bought law books. These hands built a truck. These hands opened restaurants. These hands signed checks. These hands made my life mine. One evening, a man came to my restaurant. His name was Ethan. He was an architect. He had calm eyes and a quiet voice. He came alone at first. He ordered soup and bread. Then he asked about the old food truck photo. "That was your first business?" he asked. "Yes," I said. He smiled. "It has a good face." I laughed. "It had a bad engine." He laughed too. His laugh felt easy. He did not try to impress me. He did not talk about rich friends. He did not look at my dress first. He listened when I spoke. That was new to me. Ethan came back often. Sometimes he brought papers from work. Sometimes he brought no papers. He liked the corner table. He thanked every server. He remembered their names. That mattered to me. One night, I sat with him after closing. The restaurant was quiet. Warm light touched the tables. The kitchen staff had left. I poured tea for both of us. He looked at my hands around the cup. I pulled them back at once. He noticed. "Did I do something wrong?" he asked. "No," I said. "My hands are not pretty." He looked surprised. "Why say that?" I rubbed my fingers together. "They are rough. They look old." He reached slowly across the table. "May I?" I did not answer at first. Fear rose in me. I remembered Daniel's eyes. I remembered the disgust on his face. I remembered how he looked at my hands. I almost stood up and left. But Ethan waited. He did not push me, so I placed one hand in his. He held it with care. He looked at my palm. Then he kissed my calluses. My breath stopped. "I love these hands," he said. "They are strong. They built your world." Tears filled my eyes, but they did not hurt me. They felt clean. Ethan did not pity me. He did not use me. He respected me. That night, I learned something. Real love does not feel ashamed. Real love does not ask you to be less. Real love sees your scars. Then it stays. Daniel got the rich life he wanted. At least, that was what people saw. He married Victoria 1 year after he left me. Their wedding appeared in city magazines. I saw the photos once. He wore a black custom suit. She wore a long white dress. Her father stood beside them. Everyone looked rich and proud. I closed the magazine and smiled. It hurt a little then, but not like before. I had a food truck by then. I had orders to fill. I had soup on the stove. I had no time to bleed for Daniel. Years later, I heard the truth. The city talked. Rich people loved talk. Daniel's life looked beautiful from outside. But inside, it was cold. Victoria controlled the money. Her father controlled the job. Daniel signed a strict marriage paper. He got nothing from Victoria's family. He got a title and a nice office, but he had no real power. At work, her father gave orders. At home, Victoria gave orders. Daniel smiled in public. He stayed quiet at private dinners. He wore expensive suits. He drove expensive cars, but none of it felt his. Every gift had a rule. Every dollar had a chain. Victoria looked down on him. She called him poor during fights. She laughed at his family. She reminded him who made him rich. She spent money as she wished. She saw other men too. People whispered about it. Daniel heard the whispers, but he said nothing. He wanted power, but he became a servant. He wanted a rich life, but he owned no peace. He wanted to leave poverty, but he carried shame everywhere. I did not know all this at once. I learned it piece by piece. A customer said something. A banker said something else. One lawyer said too much after wine. I did not ask for more. Daniel was not my life anymore. One cold evening, my main restaurant was full. Rain tapped on the windows. The dining room glowed with warm light. People laughed over dinner. Servers moved like dancers. The kitchen worked fast and clean. I stood near the pass and checked plates. Then the host came to me. "Miss Rachel, a man asks for you." "Who?" I asked. He did not say. He looks upset. I wiped my hands on a towel. I walked out of the kitchen. The dining room felt alive around me. Then I saw him near the bar, Daniel. For a second, I knew him. Then I did not. He wore a suit worth thousands. His shoes shone like glass. His watch cost more than a car, but his face looked tired. His skin looked gray. His eyes looked older than his years. "Is that him?" Daniel asked. "Yes," I replied, "and he respects me." Daniel looked at my hands with a sorrow that came too late. I simply said goodbye and told him to enjoy his rich life. As I got into the car, Ethan gently kissed my rough fingers. Through the window, I saw Daniel frozen in the streetlight as we drove away. The night was cold, but I felt warm with Ethan beside me and my restaurant behind us. My hands still bore the marks of my struggle, but I no longer hid them or felt small. Daniel once promised me the world, but chose money instead. So, I built my own world. What do you think about Daniel's choice? Did he get what he deserved? Leave a comment below. If you love stories about strong women, hit the like button and subscribe to Teddy English Stories. See you in the next story.